Did you know you can sponsor your favorite podcast on the Spin Market Podcast Network? Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Stockdale, host of the Spin Market Report. In the past year, our podcasts have had over 20,000 total streams, and our YouTube channels have had over 1 million views. Whether you're promoting a product, service, or event, we'll help you reach the audience that matters. Get more information on how to sponsor a podcast at spinmarketwith2ks.com. Spin Market. Your business, your message, our platform.
It's the Spin Market Report. Here's your host, Peter Stockdale.
We are back. It's the Spin Market Report, another Marketing Monday.
Yes, as we always say, it's the most important day of the entire week.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Today we're sitting down with Ellie Rastetter. Ellie, you are the owner of Spirited Events, correct?
Yeah,
this is a super cool one. I don't know how you guys found Ellie, but it was recommended, like, let's bring her on the podcast. I looked up your stuff. This is a fun thing because I know in like bigger cities, this is a huge deal, like a huge deal. And it's really cool that there's somebody kind of close by doing this sort of stuff. So let's just baseline it. What is Spirited Events? What do you do?
So Spirited Events is a beverage business. So we do, well, me, I do like bar service for say like parties, corporate events, weddings, that sort of thing. And I do also mixology classes. So teaching people how to create a cocktail or a mocktail.
So it's not just, you're not just making drinks for people, you're teaching people
yes,
too.
Yes, exactly.
That's fun. That's fun. How'd you get interested in this?
Well, I have always really kind of been interested in the hospitality industry. It's always been something that I've done. It was my first job was at Pizza Ranch. So I still have super fond memories of that. But then I worked at a restaurant that was really cocktail based in the bar. And that's really how I got into the like mixology portion of the bartending. So they just provided me with all of the tools that I needed to run wild and get creative with all my cocktails. So.
Oh, that's wild. So is this something that you had to like learn on the job, or is this something that you already kind of knew how to do?
I learned most of it all on the job. I'd taken a couple like day classes here and there, just gotten some really helpful tips and tricks from some really talented people, but otherwise it's all just kind of self-taught. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where are you based out of?
Well, I'm based out of Rockwell City, and that's where I've always lived my whole life. So I have definitely gotten to know a lot of people, built a lot of connections, working in like the surrounding towns and such. So that's really where I'm based out of now. So
that's awesome. So like when you were doing the mixology stuff for, let's say, like the restaurant or the establishment that you were working at, well, at what point in time did you realize, you know, from there till now, I could probably do this, you know, as a job?
Right. So I was actually 2 years in a row, I competed in a mixology competition.
Oh, wow.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
Where was that at?
So they hold that every year in Des Moines.
Okay.
And
cool.
it's called the Mixology Championships. And so 2 years in a row, I competed in that. In 2023, I won best drink for one of the cocktails.
Super.
And then 2024 ended up winning the whole thing.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yay.
So that was awesome. Super exciting.
That's super cool. What was the drink that you made the first year?
The first year, it was a cognac and Prosecco drink that had strawberry basil sort of flavors.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And what did you call it?
It was called the Ball and Chain. So it's kind of reminiscent of like strawberry basil sort of connection there. And then each cocktail was based off of a specific spirit. And so this one was the Prosecco, and the champagne or the Prosecco happened to be called Unshackled. So I kind of wanted to do a little play on words on the Ball and Chain. So, yeah.
I feel like mixology, I mean, I'm kind of deviating from the questions, but I feel like it's like a lost art, you know, and I don't want to like pigeonhole anybody, but like around this area, it's kind of like light beer or just like your typical drink with your typical mixer,
exactly.
You know, a blah, 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 and a soda.
Yeah,
you know,
you're
like,
not finding a lot of craft cocktails around here. So it's fun to be able to bring that to a small area. So
So when you do events though, right?
Yep.
So people can hire you for an event, whether it be something to teach people how to do mixology, or I'm assuming you also do the hospitality portion of the event as well.
Yep. So I would do like all of the drink making for that entire night, or say it was like a bachelorette party or something to that effect. Yeah. And then I would just make the cocktails for everybody the whole night. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you personalize each event based on what's going on?
I do. I always take requests from people, if they have something specific they like, if they have a theme they're going for, I always try to follow that, any guidelines they have. But otherwise, yeah, I make all my own syrups, all my, fresh squeezed juices and all of that
Really?
stuff. So
Holy
it's,
cow.
yeah,
Cool.
it's super fun to be able to personalize each event that way. So
Is there like a questionnaire you have people fill out when they want your services?
a little bit. I mean, a lot of it comes down to just a conversation, and then I can get the feel of what type of event they're going for, whether it's sort of an elegant night or a casual, kind of a fun party vibe, whatever they're feeling. So
you had mentioned a couple of the different types of events that you've done. Which ones are maybe the most prevalent? I'm assuming like weddings or wedding-ish type things.
I would say this year I've been doing a lot of at businesses, their drink services for, say they're going to have an open house or something. I've done quite a few boutiques and salons, done that
Nice.
quite a
Yes.
few times this year. Also some corporate things for parties that they're going to have for their employees or their clients. So those have been super fun.
Have you ever done an event and had somebody, I mean, either in a mixology class type or one where you're doing a corporate event or a wedding or something, have you ever had somebody come up to you and ask you for an odd drink that, when you finally mix it all together, you're like, well, this is actually really good?
I haven't had that quite yet. I would say there's definitely been some unique drinks that I have done to fit themes.
Okay.
So say, just yesterday, actually, I had my mixology class. It was at another garden center, and all of the drinks were botanical herb kind of plant themed.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a eucalyptus drink, a cedar drink, and a juniper drink. So those were all really fun to play with and figure out a way to make those palatable for everybody.
That's awesome. Speaking of events, you do have an event, I do want to say, coming up, Smitty's Garden Center. It is December 18th.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about what that event's going to be like or what people can expect?
Yeah. So our class is actually full, which is awesome, which is pretty awesome.
So how
if
many
you-
are you having for full?
24 is the
Excellent.
max that I can do just for equipment wise and time wise. That kind of works better. I'm might have to get a microphone one of these days so everyone can hear me. But each person gets their own set of tools, their shaker, their muddler, their strainers, and
They get to take that home with them, or
it's
no?
just for the
Okay.
class.
All
It's
right.
just for classes. But I bring all of the tools for everybody, and then we together make 3 drinks. They get recipe cards that they get to take home, and so everybody gets to make 3 drinks and enjoy all of those. And we're gonna have snacks, and so yeah, it'll be a super fun event.
Very fun.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, if you're looking forward to going to something, that would be one to go to, but it's full.
It's full,
It's
but
full.
since it filled up so quickly, we might have to do another one, within the next
Absolutely.
month or two. So
Dude, that's super cool. Okay, so if anybody wants to find your stuff, I'm assuming your Facebook page, social medias would probably be the best place.
yes. I'm currently just on Facebook at Spirited Events, but I definitely should probably look into getting an Instagram or something. But
We can
Facebook is
probably help you with
primarily-
all those things.
Yes, definitely.
Be happy to talk to you about that.
Yeah,
Do you have a website by chance?
I don't.
You don't.
I don't.
All right. Well,
Uh,
that's another thing we can help you out with.
Okay.
Well, I will have to say, that this is a good idea when you don't have the full gamut of marketing stuff and you're still running events and they're full.
Yeah.
So this is something that the area definitely wants. So when you have to plan for stuff like this, how many days ahead do you have to plan, or is it months ahead, or what's the lead up to the actual event looking like? Are you just scrambling to get all this stuff in the back of a vehicle, or?
It does look like that sometimes, for sure. I'm definitely thinking and planning weeks ahead, but a lot of my prep work is done just days in advance just because I make everything fresh and I want it to be as fresh as possible. So the first couple days leading up to the event, it is kind of hectic, just making sure I can get all of that stuff done and making sure I have enough for everybody and never want to run out. So
yeah, if you're making your own fresh juices and, mixers and things like that, you probably have like an awesome compost pile out of your house.
Yeah, I should.
So let's say demand for the services. We had talked about how this event coming up at Smitty's is full. I wanted to, get this episode out before that event, but it's already full, so the extra promotion won't help. But if somebody wants to, let's say, acquire your services for a later event, what kind of events are you open to? Just about any type of event?
I am. I'm open to really anything, and people have come to me with great ideas of their own parties, of their businesses wanting to partner and do things. So I'm really open to any sort of event that comes my way.
And if people want to contact you, I'm assuming the Facebook is going to be the best.
Yep, the
best
Facebook,
route.
and on there you can find my email or my phone number, and people will reach out to me that way as well. So,
How far are you willing to travel?
Just a few weeks ago I went to Des Moines for an event, so I'm willing to travel as far as I need to.
Okay.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So partnering with local, let's just say local businesses, you're not necessarily from the Fort Dodge area, but you're in the greater Fort Dodge area. Let's call it that. You have this event with Smitty's. How many different businesses, is that like something you do a lot of, is partnering up with businesses to kind of be like, we're going to do this thing here at your place?
Yes. Yep. That's been something that I've really been grateful for, since I myself don't have a brick and mortar to host events. It's been nice to be able to partner with people. I've definitely thought about doing things in locations where I can rent something. So that's something I'm always thinking about, things I can host myself. So something that's definitely in the works.
What about, I'm assuming you started this kind of from scratch, all by yourself. Maybe this is the first time you've launched a business and things like that.
Yep.
Let's talk about some of the learning along the way. What were some of the lessons you learned along the way?
I think one of the biggest lessons I learned was just you need to stay consistent in your promoting yourself and all of your marketing tactics. You've got to stay consistent and make sure people recognize your brand, your logo, and making connections with people. The word of mouth has been one of the best tools that I've used, just meeting people at all these different events, and they tell their friends and they get a hold of me for an event that I didn't even know was out there.
Yeah. Word of mouth, it's funny. We're working a digital marketing agency here, and word of mouth is one of those things I want to say it's ancient, but it's tried and tested though. It's the one thing that you don't really have a whole lot of feedback on it. You can't really scroll through the data of people talking to each other, but it's one of the strongest things you can give is like your verbal
Testimonial
for a company as to what they're doing, and I feel like that is definitely one of the biggest things is word of mouth. How about advice for somebody else looking to maybe start a service business of their own? Maybe not necessarily a mixology, but just a service business.
I would say just having confidence in yourself that what you provide is something special, and just knowing that if it's meant to be, it will catch on. It might take some time, and patience is definitely something I've learned a lot of. So just, believing in yourself and staying consistent.
So how do you stay creative or current with like the cultural changes that are going on? It's not that drinks are specifically only tied to culture, but with what you're doing, like you said, you can go from one event to the next and kind of tie everything into it. How do you stay current on trying to find something that everyone's going to enjoy?
I definitely consider the range of drinks that I have and making sure there is something for everyone. I know that maybe someone's not a big whiskey fan, but I try to make a whiskey drink that's going to be enjoyable or at least tolerable for everyone to try. That's one of my main things, is getting people out of their comfort zones. Nice. So sometimes it's fun to not follow the trends and bring something different to a party.
I really love that, because I always like to see something different and exciting, and like you said, take people out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good for them. I know that upsets a lot of people, but going out of your comfort zone is so important to growing yourself as well as anybody else, any business out there.
Yeah.
So when you make these drinks, do you have like a lab that you're just concocting stuff in, or how many bad drinks do you make before you make a good one? It just seems so crazy to me that you can just come up with some of the stuff. We're going to put cedar in this one or juniper in that one.
Well, it definitely is a lot of trial and tribulation. My kitchen looks like a madman's lab when I'm done.
That's awesome.
I'd love to see a picture of that one. Can you send us a picture so we can put it with your podcast?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I just have all my syrups just lined up, and thankfully I have a lot of loving people who are willing to try all my crazy concoctions and give me their honest opinions. So
I never thought of that. I mean, you'd almost need other people because you can't just do it all on your own. Even if you're just taste testing things, eventually you're just going to kind of, I want to say like be blind to the flavors, but
exactly. And my taste might not be the same as my mom's,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Another good example of marketing is like, let's see what 10 people think of this as opposed to just me.
Yeah,
we have that confirmation bias, I think, a lot of times on our own stuff.
So if I were to walk up to you at the bar and say, give me something exciting, do you look at the person and say, okay, I'm going to try this, or how they're dressed? Or, is there anything that gives you an idea of what you might want to?
Or is it like a magic question you ask?
Yeah.
I would kind of ask them maybe what's their go-to spirit, what's their favorite liquor to use, or if they have sort of a flavor profile that they like. Say if they like a more sweet drink, if they like something lighter, if they like something stronger, then I try to base that off that and create something that they would like.
What if somebody says, well, I only drink wine?
Right.
Okay, I stumped the mixology.
Well, I think that there's definitely crowd pleasers that I have for drinks that maybe you don't drink a cocktail every day, but I think things that you would enjoy, I think I could make. So.
I could just see somebody coming up and saying, well, I only drink wine. Mm-hmm. And, it's hard to think of a mixed drink that would give them the same characteristics of wine.
Right.
Yeah, the closest thing this is me not being the mixologist, but like the closest thing I could think of would be like a fortified wine or like maybe a sherry or something like it. But even then, sometimes those aren't really made to mix, really. I'm sure you could though. Like,
you could make like a fun sangria or something like that.
See, there we go. That's why you have this job and I don't. Oh, that's awesome. So if you had to pick one drink that's like your signature go-to drink, whether it be like the one that is most requested, or maybe it's the one that you think is the best, or the one that you always kind of come back to and tinker with a little bit. Yeah,
I would refer back to this drink that I did in the Mixology competition in 2024. It was a sort of a Manhattan style drink, and it had bourbon. Then I made a peppercorn simple syrup. Ooh. And then I paired it with elderflower liqueur, which is very floral, very sweet. So it was definitely a little bit different. It had some savory notes, some sweet notes, and a little bit smoky from the bourbon. So I kind of always refer back to that one, especially if someone's looking to try something new and they're a whiskey drinker. I love that drink. I think it's super different, super fun. So
you say elderflower?
Yes, elderflower.
I don't even know if I could point what an elderflower is. I don't know if I've ever even seen an elderflower. That's so cool.
I just love the whole aspect of the creativity of it, and how you can be offering a cocktail to somebody, but be entertaining and just be a whole different atmosphere. I love it.
Yeah. I feel like this is weird because this is like an analogy for marketing. It's like there are some tried and true things that definitely work, but those are the things everyone's already doing. Your brand name A whiskey and your brand name B cola. Like that's the thing everybody does. It always works and stuff like that. But it's just mind blowing to me that you can come up with these new things all the time, and you're always testing and you're always trying new things. Not a whole lot different than marketing, honestly. No. You got to kind of do the things that everyone's doing, but at the same time, you have to have stuff in your back pocket in order to do something brand new.
Yeah, you got to keep it fresh.
Absolutely. So, surprisingly good drink combination that you discovered that most people wouldn't expect would be good.
I would say, I've done quite a few different things. So I've done like a cilantro tequila drink that was paired with coconut milk. So it was like a creamy sort of, tried to go for like a Mexican style cocktail to pair with some tacos that we were doing.
Oh, cool.
And then I've done like a sesame drink and a pecan drink. So just trying to kind of find those different things that you usually don't find in a cocktail.
I'm intrigued with the pecan.
Yeah.
Drink. What went with that?
It ended up being like a rum drink, and then I just made a pecan simple syrup that I paired with the rum. So it was sort of to emulate like a pecan pie. Was kind of the goal there.
Interesting.
Yes.
A nice, it would be more of a dessert.
Yeah,
type
exactly.
Good.
Perfect for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Right?
I was just thinking that. Yes.
All right. How about a weird but fun request that you got at an event? And maybe how did you handle it? I think there's got to be somebody out there that's asking for the goofiest thing that you're just like, either I don't have this stuff with me, or like let's make something out of this with what I do have, or I'm just trying to think of like the goofiest drink I can think of, but I can't think of anything.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes people have asked me like, I feel funny because I'm at this fancy cocktail bar or whatever, and they're like, do you have Fireball? I'm like, I don't know if I do. Like, make me something fun with Jaeger, or just, they pick their favorite spirit and they want a fancy drink out of it, and I try to make it happen for them. So,
you bring up a good point though. If somebody was like, I like Fireball, I'm sure you could make something pretty fancy in that area.
I'm intrigued with what you would do with Fireball.
Let's just imagine like a nice whiskey with some of her, accoutrement next to it, or in it, and you could probably create like a high end type of drink.
Yeah, you would never even know. Yeah.
Interesting.
That brings up a point. What is your average price of your drink?
So
Not to put you on,
it varies based on each event, kind of what we're doing. Since my business is actually considered a dry bar, I don't provide alcohol per se for these events. It's kind of up to my customer to get the alcohol. Just working around liquor laws and that sort of thing.
Did
it is
not
a little
think
bit
about that. Yeah,
it's a little bit difficult to obtain a liquor license, certainly when you don't have a building that you are. But I am kind of looking into getting a mobile bar, like a cocktail trailer of sorts. So that way I could provide everything that I would need. I would just roll up and I'd have everything for everybody. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't even think about that, how the business model is probably a little bit different, but that's got to be kind of beneficial to you, because you can at least with these events be like, what do you kind of want? And they can kind of help you coordinate that in some capacity, instead of you just showing up with boxes and boxes of everything.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. All right. And that actually puts a little bit of the onus back on the person hosting the event with you. That's just kind of like, these are the things these are going to be the main portions of what we have. This will be the main gist of it. I like that a lot. We've talked a lot about drinks in this podcast. Outside of, doing these events and drinks, what's something you like to do to unwind after a busy day, whether it be with a drink or without?
Well, usually with a drink, I will say. But I love to cook. My boyfriend and I are always making dinner and making definitely some good food. I also like to go to the gym, take our dog on a walk, that sort of thing. So I'm big into being outside, being into nature. And so I just try to enjoy that as much as possible, especially it's been so nice these last couple weeks. So trying to do that as much as possible before it is snowing on the ground.
Yeah. You had mentioned you guys like to cook. That's super fun because like I imagine like going home and it's just like, well, we're going to have, this fancy meal here or whatever. And then you get somebody else that's like, well, let's make a fancy drink that might just match with it. Like that's restaurant quality, enjoyment, but it's just sitting at home. That's really cool.
Yeah, we love it. We sit there sometimes with our food and our drink and we're like, we're just living the life here.
Honestly, yeah.
Very neat.
All right, so we did talk about the big event coming up at Smitty's. Do you usually do like public events, or this one is sold out, but was this like a public event at first?
It was. Yep. So anybody could call, make a reservation for their spot, and we would have that open for them. And that's kind of like some of the fun fun side of the events where I don't even know who's going to be there, or I never know what type of groups are going to be coming, whether it's a group of girls or it's a date night for somebody. It's kind of fun to just then show up and see all of the different types of people. Some people are certainly there to have fun, but some people are also there to really learn something, which is super fun.
Oh, wow. Again, this is something I guess I didn't think about. This could be just something that people go to learn. And this could literally just be something that people are going to I don't know, cut loose a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Okay, so we talked about that event coming up on the 18th, which is sold out, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Other upcoming events, do you know any off the top of your head?
Well, I have another one at Focus Gardens, and that's in Sac City. So that is December 7th, actually before my Smitty's one. That one we are definitely getting low on our spot availability there. And then I've got another one coming up in January. So at the end of January, I believe it's the 24th, and that is going to be at Soaked in Lakeview.
Cool. That's a cool place.
It's a very cool place. I'm super excited to partner with them for this event because they're awesome and they're doing some cool things. I actually, a few months ago, I did a specialty drink menu for them to put out for their fall menu. So that was super cool.
If you've never been to Soaked, highly suggest it.
Yeah.
They have pizza there as well. That is also very good. So even if you're listening to this, like, I don't know if I want a drink, go get a pizza. Maybe a drink will sound good.
Not heard of that place.
It's kind of, I don't know, like a year old maybe or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a pretty nice place.
Would you play there?
I have played a show there.
You played a show there?
Yes,
Okay.
actually. Yep.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
so cool.
I played a show
Very,
there.
very versatile.
Yep.
Peter is.
With Jesse Wilson. Better
Yes.
give him a shout out.
Yes.
I didn't play there by myself, that's for sure. So yeah, other upcoming events, the best place to find them. Let's say somebody's intrigued by this and they're like, I got to go to one of these events. I got to find out. Again, Facebook, I'm assuming, is the best place.
Facebook is the place that I post all of my upcoming events. So you can always message me to find out if I've got anything going on, or just look at my posts, and usually I've got things happening.
All right. And again, I just wanted to reiterate, this is something that businesses can hire you for, or it can be like a holiday event or a private party. Is this something that I'm just throwing this out there. Let's say I want to do a New Year's Eve party at my house. Is this something I could hire you for?
Yes,
You would do
absolutely.
something like that as well?
Absolutely. And we could come up with some custom drinks that kind of fit your theme, do some fun champagne cocktails, some sparkly whiskey drinks, whatever you like. And then we could, I would just make all the drinks all night.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm not much of a drinker, but talking about this kind of really makes me want to try at least one, I kind of want to go through and be like, what?
At least a little sip.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like one of these mixology classes would be right up my alley, because you could make 3 different drinks or whatever you guys decide on at the event, and I could, try different things. I'm one of those people that was, I'll say it, I was one of those self-proclaimed people that was just whiskey brand A, cola brand B, good enough, kind of people. But trying these fancy drinks, I haven't had something like this in probably 10 plus years. I don't even remember where the last, I remember where the last place was. But yeah, it was an old fashioned. I was like, this is the fanciest thing I've ever had in my entire life. I think those are also cool, to have the experience of going somewhere and somebody's, squeezing a rind or burning something and getting a little bit of that smoky flavor trapped in the glass. That's not something you're going to get at, random XYZ bar downtown at wherever, so I already asked you some of the weirder ones. I just want more weird, weird drink.
Something that you would never have thought you could put together in a drink.
Yeah. I mean, for some reason my brain's going to tomato. I was it's always something where Bloody Mary, where it's my brain would just be geesh, I don't know. But is there anything in that vein that you've also made where it's almost aggressive in the mixing department?
I would say I have actually done a drink that was with a sweet potato. It was a sweet potato syrup.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that was super different. It definitely adds some sort of layer of earthiness to the cocktail. But I think this was Thanksgiving sort of theme. So it was maybe with the pecan drink. It was all sort of a specialty menu. So we did a sweet potato, a baking spice.
And what was what spirit did you put with it?
I believe it was a vanilla vodka.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
Man, this makes me think. So you're making all these syrups yourself. Are there any rules to these syrups? Is there anything you can't turn into a syrup? Or
honestly, I haven't found anything yet. I really, anything that you can think of, you could do a syrup or an infusion of some sort into your alcohol or into your mixer, you could always find a way. That's what I say. You can always find a way.
I always feel like that's something else too. Like, and again, this is just me. I play music in bars. There's not always a lot of like mixing syrups at bars. Again, that just comes down to we have soda in a can next or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not all that they all have, but I just, it's just so unique. I don't know. It's just something that's not really, it's nice that it's in this area because you would have to go to a big city in order to get anything remotely close to this.
Yeah. And it's a lot of work, to make your own syrups and testing out all your drinks. You got to try them at least 3-4 times before you actually nail it. Or, you just have to scrap the whole idea and say, I got to go a different direction.
Was there ever a syrup you made that like just didn't turn out the first couple times and you're like, I got to try again? And then by the time you ended up figuring that out?
It wasn't really a syrup, but it was a brown butter bourbon that I did. So you brown the butter and then you blend it all up with the bourbon and then you strain it out super, super good. And then so that it leaves the bourbon with this sort of buttery mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. And that took me several times before I actually found the way to get it done properly and to have that flavor of it almost leaves like a butterscotch flavor in your mouth. So. Oh,
wow. And that actually makes me think. So even though these events are you show up and other people bring the alcohol, you still have to get the alcohol to your house to try it to like make this stuff. So like your research and development still has to involve
right. And so that's at my house. I have quite an array of things already, so I can do all the experimenting that I need to before I actually show up to the event, so that I know I'm gonna nail it. So
nice. So one of the things I had mentioned earlier was like an old fashioned. I know there's a lot of drinks that are in the old fashioned, like I don't want to say like line, but there's a lot of them that are like, instead of this, we're just going to put that in here. Now it's got a new name.
Right.
Is that a common drink that people kind of like lean towards? Or
yes.
Do you think that's because like social type stuff? Like I think of the movie like Mad Men, like there's, it feels like one of those, or the TV show Mad Men. It feels like one of those types of drinks. Is that why people maybe lean towards that one more often? Or
I think it's definitely one of those classic cocktails that people are always referring back to. And it's easy to kind of like you say, swap this for that and make it a little bit of a unique style. But it's one of my favorite drinks, I will say. So it's definitely just a classic that people love an old fashioned. I always try to kind of have an old fashioned style drink or a more spirit forward drink when I do events. And then I'll have like a fruity drink, a light bubbly drink, and then our spirit forward one. So we have an array of flavors for people.
Perfect. Like I'm smiling off camera. Like that sounds like something I would definitely try 100% for sure. I want to come back to like the old fashioned. So like this is going to sound crazy. When I was growing up, I remember, I almost don't want to put my dad on blast, but I remember my dad drank, and he would drink mixed drinks that aren't just like your typical nowadays mixed drinks. Do drinks change like over time? Are there drinks that were popular like maybe in the 80s that aren't as popular in the 2000s or 90s versus today or stuff like that?
Yeah, I definitely think that drinks have an era like everything else, and then it kind of comes back around. Right now, like you say, where old fashions are popular, espresso martinis are making a way and making a huge comeback. So
an espresso martini is very good.
Yeah, I love it. So
I could see that being good for sure.
Yeah. I would say people are always kind of swapping out what they know and are seeking new things. So I'm glad that I can be a part of that in a unique way and brings people things that they don't know exist, or a variation on a classic is always nice.
Is there like a drink that's cliche? Like I think of recently I heard somebody had a Long Island iced tea, and it's like, well, nobody actually really drinks a whole lot of Long Island iced teas. It's just like a movie drink, even though it is an actual drink that people do actually drink. Mm-hmm. It's just not commonly ordered. Are there any of those that you kind of just were like, wait a second, I haven't heard this in a while?
Yeah, I mean, certainly a Long Island iced tea. Another one that came to mind is like an amaretto sour. Amaretto is definitely a specific flavor that not everyone likes. So when I hear someone order that, I'm like, I didn't know people actually like that's their preference. So
maybe this is just me showing my ignorance. I guess I just wouldn't assume those would pair the best. But again, I'm not the one drinking it, so what difference does it make, I guess. But I don't know. That's interesting. That the funnest part about this is there's like not really a whole lot of rules as far as like, you're not supposed to mix this with that. It's like, why not?
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like that's one of the funnest things about this. This is super cool. Again, I wish this has been around for a long time. I listened to one podcast in particular where they actually hire a mixologist to come every episode and make everybody a drink.
Oh, that's so fun.
And it was like what they always did. And that was like my first introduction to this. I started looking into it. This is maybe 10 years ago. And it's like in big cities, like this one took place in New York. It's like, this is a big thing in New York. People will come over and mix drinks for you. It's super cool that this is around here too. Cause Fort Dodge never ceases to surprise me.
That's why when I saw your information, I said, hey, this is somebody we need to get on for a podcast.
Absolutely.
On there. One question I have for you, since we're so close to 2026 and we're busy working with our clients on what they're going to do in 2026, what's your big goal?
My big goal, I would say, is to host more of my own events, make things happen, rather than waiting for events to kind of come to me, which is I've been fortunate in that way. This time of year, it's flooded with events that people are hosting, but I would love to host some more of my own events, whether that is a mixology class or just a party, basically, I would love to get into that. And I would also love to do some more research on the mobile bar and kind of get that set up. I think that is a big market for weddings and that kind of thing. So
yeah, I was gonna say if you do the mobile bar thing, like that could be something where you could like end up at like street dances and things in the summer too.
Exactly, concerts or farmers markets and that sort of thing.
Interesting. Actually, have you ever thought about like making your own syrups and then selling them?
I was just talking to somebody yesterday and they were like, you should sell your syrups. I'm like, well, that is a fantastic idea. So I'm actually already doing research about that too.
Nice.
So,
or maybe by the time this episode comes out, there might be some syrups available. That's that could be something really cool, because what if you do an event and someone's like, I don't know how to make pecan whatever it's syrup, and it's like, oh, well, I have some if you want some or whatever. That's really cool. That's super cool. I mean, that could also be like another line in this, is you could just basically teach people how to make the syrups. Honestly, I bet you could probably do pretty well just in that area. There's a lot of stuff here. This is a good concept with a lot of open areas.
I was going to say a lot of opportunities for you to expand. So if you were looking for a place to do some of the things that you're talking about, what would be the ideal place for you to look at? Because I'm thinking maybe somebody hears this podcast and has an idea of where you possibly.
Yeah. So I would say like, I did this summer, I had a mixology class that was at the community center. So that's a neutral place for everyone to meet up.
Especially in a smaller town.
Exactly. Community center, or like I guess another restaurant would be a great way, if they wanted to have me in for a mixology class sort of thing, where I could rent out their space to host a mixology class. It would be beneficial for us both, where, I would get my exposure and they would get some clientele as well. So
that's nice, especially if there's like a restaurant that has specials or like a changing menu. You could like swing in, once a season and be like, here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the cocktails to go with the menu.
That's super cool. Yeah, there's a lot of really good ideas that could come out of this, and this is like in and of itself a really good idea. It's something neat for this area to have, something we don't have here, and I feel like this could go gangbusters.
Yes,
honestly, this is a really fun idea. I also feel like, and I almost don't want to bring it up, but like, remember like when COVID happened, this was kind of the only route people could go, and now this is like a fun thing as opposed to just like a necessity thing. So this could be really fun. I see you've got events coming up. One of them's already sold out. If anybody's looking for event to go to, you do have another event after the Smitty's event that's coming up, but tickets are low. So if you're thinking about it, don't hesitate. Just buy the ticket and head out to the event. If people want to contact you, again, your social media is going to be the best place to go.
Yep.
And available for hire at private, public events, restaurants, community centers, anything you can name. That's pretty much what we're going for here. I do have one more question before we get to the end of this, and I ask everyone this question, and this is just kind of a fun question, I guess, in our realm here. But can you name a time in your life where marketing impacted you, and you possibly didn't know it until after it already happened, after you have like the product in your hand? This could be working with drinks. This could be working with customers. This could just be in your everyday life, rolling around Target, and before you know it, there's something in your cart.
The one thing that's mystifying to me is what's the stuffed animal that everybody is buying for big bucks, that they're hanging it on their purses and their
Labubu.
That's what it is.
I don't get it. I'm sorry. I think Gail King, right? Isn't that her name on TV? She made the comment. She says, I don't want anything hanging off my purse. And I'm going, really? Exactly. Your purse is usually heavy enough without anything else hanging on it.
That's marketing, though. That just means
marketing.
It wasn't for you. It's for somebody else.
It wasn't for me.
That's definitely not for me. My purse has no Labubus hanging off of it. That's for sure.
I want to see this purse.
I would just go kind of in that direction. That's where my mind went, is with fashion. You don't really think about... You may not think something's cute, and then someone's wearing it all the time. You're like, oh, that's actually kind of cool, and then you see it all over. And, the way things become a trend is just so crazy. It just seems like overnight, and all the stores are carrying it, everybody's wearing it. So, it's crazy just seeing things online, seeing it, people in person, and word spreads like wildfire. So,
yeah. Fashion trends are especially like that. It's like there's no reason why it's popular almost, and there's no reason why it kind of went out of style. I think for some reason my brain instantly went to like Jennifer Aniston's hairdos during like the Friends era. Like
right.
Every time she changed her hair for a season, everyone had to have
that was the
new
style
haircut,
to do.
just because she had it, and it's I don't know. You look back and I don't have any.
Farrah Fawcett.
Okay.
That was a classic.
I'll tell you what, I don't have any hair now, but I look back at some of my hairstyles I had, and I'm just like, I don't know what I was thinking. It makes me wonder if I still had a full head of hair, I'd probably just be shaking my head.
You were just imagining that everybody was looking at you and feeling the same way you thought of whose ever hair you were emulating.
Yeah. I was just happy to have hair, I guess, in retrospect, I guess. No, this has been really fun because I feel like, again, this is something that's unique to the area. This is something that people obviously want. It was interesting to like look up the events and then just be like, this one says it's sold out. And I was like, I have to ask her, like, is it really, sold out? And it's like, the next one's got low tickets. It's like, and then yes, confirming again, low tickets. So this is something that is in demand. And I think this is something that could make a nice fancy weekend event for somebody to go to, or maybe even like a weeknight event just for something to kind of cut loose a little bit, learn something new, try something new, try a new drink. It's, I feel like we all get stuck in a rut, especially around here with the same old pattern, whether it be like a specific drink or going to like the same place every Friday for the same type of entertainment. This is a new fun thing we can do. So, Ellie, I do want to say thank you very much for taking time out of your day to sit down and talk with us. This is really fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we have one more thing. This is Buster the Bulldog, and we are bulldogs for getting your information online and digitally seen. So we always ask our guests, just rub Buster's head for a little good luck there. And as you can tell, he keeps getting shinier and shinier. That's how many people have been getting good luck from our podcast.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Enjoy making those drinks.
Thank you
so much.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515 302-826 or visit our website at www.spinmarketwith2ks.com.